Hello and welcome to another episode of the Shute Out. We are a month into the Blue Crane Capital Shoot Shield season, and Tom Coolican, always a pleasure to catch up with you and chat Shoot Shield and all things rugby. How are you this week?
Oh, well, it wasn't just an outstanding round of rugby on Saturday. Sydney weather turning on again, and it was a cracking game at North Sydney Oval, as there were cracking games all across Sydney, Will.
Well, if you're enjoying the Shootout, you can subscribe and like the content to make sure that you don't miss all of the bits and pieces coming. And this evening, we are previewing all 6 games, but our match of the round on 9 and 9 now this weekend is Eastwood hosting West Harbour at TG Milner. And our guest is Tom Goddard, a young scrum half who's doing some great things at Eastwood and will bring up his 100th club game at the Woodies as well. And on the refs room, we are catching up with Colm McCaughan. Getting that pronunciation right, which is a joy. But coolo, round 4 of the Blue Crane Capital Shoot Shield. Our match of the round was Northern Suburbs against Randwick, and it was an entertaining one. Max Burey was the star. We'll chat a lot about him a little bit later, but 39 points to 28, the way of Northern Suburbs.
It was very much the Max Burey show. The week started well with Short crashing over in the 9th minute through some great work of Barrett for now and Naisarani, who really were the engine rooms of that side and key in getting any momentum for them. Callum Circo responded soon after, crashing over for one of 3 tries. He had a great day at the office, exceptional out wide, a lot of genuine X factor about him. Barrett then responded and the Wicks looked well poised, but just before half time, a great break from Max Burey as he found his feet, offloading to Morgan, who crashed over. Mate, 13-14, you can see the body language of the Randwick players. They went into the sheds. They were down on themselves. Norths were upbeat. And then sort of in that second half, Norths really came to their own. Max Burey was just a class above, if anything. Randwick very lateral in their attack, very side to side. And when Anita Finau went off with 20 minutes to go, Randwick missed 5 out of 7 lineouts in that final 20 minutes. That was a nail in the coffin for them. A good win for Northern Suburbs, and Randwick back to the drawing board, unfortunately.
0-4 to start the season, but bonus points, they're not on the bottom of the ladder, so very interesting times. But West Harbour 17, Eastern Suburbs 42. West genuinely matched it with Easts in the opening 30. It was 14-10 the way of Easts. They traded a couple of forwards tries. Archie Gavin continues his try scoring prowess, but there was real chip and feeling in this one at Concord. East kicked well, met the physicality, set piece of West Harbour, and it was a bit of a Ben Batcher masterclass the way that he coaches. They absorbed, they hit hard, they just took it and matched West Harbour at the game they play. And then, look, they just started to get on top. There was fatigue in the second half. Tupai and Bowen were terrific. They combined for a lovely try. Bowen was kicking well. Score was 21-10 for Easts. West's line-out started to struggle. They showed flashes. The connectivity is great. Their forwards mix it up well. They're mobile. They join in with the backline moves really nicely, but lots of gaps opened up for Eastern Suburbs. Bowen scored a peach of a try. He set up a peach of a try. Some individual brilliance. He put the keg on legs, Bryn Davis over in the 57th minute. That pretty much put it beyond West Harbour. Eastwood 27, Western Sydney 2 Blues 30. Big win for the 2 Blues.
Yeah, big win for the 2 Blues, not just in first grade, but second grade and first Colts as well. That's huge for their director of rugby, Celeste Taki Thungenbauer, who's done a great job since taking over from that role. Eastwood didn't get the start they wanted. Nordstrom scampered off to the races after a loose turnover ball at the breakdown. Good counter-attack, though, from the Eastwood side, crashing over there. Their rolling more also looked outstanding as well. Their lineouts come leaps and bounds in the last few weeks. Just before half-time, yellow card to the 2 Blues. And unfortunately, the Woodies were held scoreless in that 5-minute period. And that, in addition to four points of missed conversions, really came out to bite the end of the game. But I must say, the individual try from Dylan Nelson, the flying mullet, when he came out of nowhere to score under the post, I think he beat about 6 tackles in that stage. It's some of the best individual brilliance I've seen from a player this season. It's going to look great on the highlights reel. Then West City 2 Blues, typically you see them, out of games like this, but the left to right pass from Rodney Iona was just outstanding. Isaac Titamaki as well, the inside kick to Sui. Iona then converted. He was exceptional off the boot, didn't miss anything. Then Titamaki as well with a wonderful intercept pass against the run of play. Shaw really sealed the deal there for the 2 Blues.
Gordon 66, Hunter Wildfires 54. It was frantic. The halftime score was 47-28 to Gordon. When we were commentating the other match and saw the halftime scores, I thought it must have been a typo initially, but it was played at serious pace. Both sides were running the ball, some brutal ball running, plenty of half tackles and missed tackles, yes. The Gordons were skipping around. Lockie Albert kept them moving. The pace and tempo was prominent. Hunter were keen to run it too. They jammed up a little bit much early on and maybe created a bit of the offload, the bit of the overlap for Gordon. But Snook, Landman and co, they exploited it. Gordon's forwards were great, but it was frenetic. Both sides kicking and screaming after it on the dry Chatswood deck. Gordon goes to third on the ladder. Hunter is in fourth, but the Wildfires have conceded 34, 38, 28 to South, and now 66 to Gordon in their 4 matches. So interesting. Third and fourth on the ladder, 66 to 54 the way of Gordon. Just madness, but interesting. Lots of tries. Uni, 15. Manly, 21. Maybe a corner turned.
Yeah, one of the more fascinating games. Look, we picked the resurgence of Manly last week on the show. We saw that first half against Warringah. We thought that was enough to go by. No points in that game for the first 30 minutes. Uni go into the shed 3-0 up. Declan Moore scores in the 44th minute. 45th minute, Joe Dillon almost drags Austin Durbridge into touch, reloads, and you'll see one of the best passes I've seen, probably since Finn Russell in 2018, Six Nations, Scotland versus England. It was something else. Talk about his spatial recognition and his ability just to recognise space, both with 50-22s and with passing like that. That was outstanding from him. And the supporting line from Billy Dickens, he just races for the corner post. DeStazo was there as well, as he was all day.
Warringah 41, Southern Districts 12 to finish off round 4. It was pretty classic stuff from Warringah early. First try set piece, releases the back line. Tupou is relentless on the wing. LeBron Naya keeps getting stronger and stronger. But David Nicol levelled things up. Red Rats kicked really well, held up in the breeze. The conversions put Souths ahead. But the Rats' power game started to bulldoze through. Naya was terrific. Barnabas, etc. Abra, Franz in support, driving the ball towards the line, and then Naya finishes it off. But Souths pushed. They kept working hard. They were ahead 15-12. It was 15-12 at the break, and then Rats did what they did. So they were leading. But the second half, they just squeezed South. A closer look. Off the back of the Norths and Randwick match, we spoke about what Max Burey did in round 4, Coolo. But post-game, he was the first interview with Dan Parks, who was with us in the broadcast as well. And let's have a listen to that interview.
Max, looked like you had fun out there today.
Yeah, I did, mate. There's something about playing club rugby that's just good for the soul, you know. And it was awesome to put the black jersey on, wearing the black jersey on, and play with some really good mates again today. So, I love playing at North Sydney Oval. It was awesome.
I was going to say, down in that corner there, mate, what happened there? To me, that looked like a fair try. What were your thoughts?
Oh, you'll have to ask the ref on that one. Who knows?
Yeah, right. and what's next for you? Are you back to the force, or are you back in Clubland next week?
Yeah, we've got the Brumbies down in Canberra next week, so not too sure what's next, what the teams look like, but hopefully just get to play some footy either way.
Absolutely, and it must be exciting for you, having the likes on guys on the outside, Callum Cirker and Shane Wilcox, very exciting young players.
Yeah, it's good. You know, Shano's come up from the Brumbies and he's getting to play in a really good competition here, and I thought he played really well today. So, I think that's a blueprint for guys in Rugby Australia. You know, play a lot of club footy at a young age, get a lot of experience doing that, and then when you go to Super Rugby, you know, you've got that experience. I think guys probably jump at Super Rugby too quick, and we sort of pay the price for it. So I think Shute Shield and the Queensland comp are really good at getting guys experience, and that shows it right there. And I think he's going to be a better player for it, and hopefully then in years to come he'll get a crack at a higher level.
Max Burey there on 9Gem 9 Now and Stan Sports coverage of the Blue Crane Capital Shute Shield, and he was just about flawless on the park in the post-match interview. Tom ticked a lot of boxes as well.
Club rugby is good for the soul. Might get that tattooed or framed or whatnot.
On your forehead? No, don't do it on your
my
forehead. Yeah.
The big forehead. Look, it's great to see Max Burey back playing the Shute Shield. You could see how much the club means to him, how much the competition means to him. And I think we just, when it's done really, really well and there's a sense of balance between risk reward and players coming back to the Shute Shield and playing, it can work really well. Jack Barrett and Jack Bowen have been really consistent in the first 4 rounds of the competition, and they've been rewarded. They're both heading over to New Zealand to play against the Highlanders off the bench. And, if we look at the Northern Suburbs side, we've seen Apollosi Runaway, who's been rewarded, been on the bench for the Waratahs as well. And Sifa Amoni's come back down to Shute Shield. There's been the old switcheroo there. So I think, the service, the ultimate, purpose of the Shute Shield is to progress players to the next level. But I also think there needs to be a sensible balance and transparent communication. So players are coming back and training where possible and playing as much as possible, because there's no substitute at the end of the day for playing a game and playing 80 minutes. Much better than holding a tackle pad at Waratahs training. And
that's what we're loving seeing at the moment, isn't it? The Waratahs with Dan McKellar have the balance, and yes, there'll be decisions made around workload and that sort of thing, but Super Rugby AU's now a part of the calendar. Max Burey lit that up and wants to keep playing. So we might be coming into this beautiful little phase of the Blue Crown Capital Shute Shield this year. We've spoken about some of the talent of Dylan and Wilcox. You mentioned Barrett and Finau as well. Bowen, Burey, they're playing football. We get to watch them at multiple levels, and it's only going to make them and the players around them better in Australian rugby.
Absolutely. And I heard during the week, people talking about James O'Connor and Bernard Foley perhaps coming back. Max Burey, Jack Bowen, and Joe Dillon. I don't think you need to look any further. We need to invest, in our young players. And I think Bernie Foley, who came through the system, would probably agree. I played Colton at Sydney University, and he's a byproduct of the system and the pathway himself. And I think you need to invest, in that hierarchy and in that process, and back that process, and back players to thrive at that level before you send them up to the next level too quickly. And that's what Max Burey touched upon it well. Dominate the Shute Shield, then go to the next level and progress.
Well, we are certainly looking forward to seeing these players light up the Blue Crown Capital Shute Shield through the season, including our next guest, who has been central for the Chargers of Eastwood. Well, our match of the round this weekend is from TG Milner. It is Eastwood hosting West Harbour, and one of the stars of Eastwood's start to the season is scrum half Tom Goddard, who joins us on the Shute Out. Tom, hello, how are you?
Hey guys, good, thank you. Good to see you both.
Great to see you too and have you a part of it. What's different this year? It's your third year in grade. What have you noticed around the Shute Shield squad that's maybe different or a change from previous years?
Yeah, definitely. Got a really young squad that have played a lot of footy together through Colts and juniors. So a lot of us have grown up together or have played against each other. And we had a really big pre-season. We worked really hard, focused on just working hard, lots of fitness, lots of up and downs, how the drill is. I think we've built a really good DNA around a hard-working team from 1 to 15, and then we've got a really solid bench that comes off and finishes the job on for us. So, in our essence, our DNA is just to work hard and the footy will look after itself.
A lot was made externally about departures from within the squad. What was said in the four walls of Eastwood around those departures and starting in a new space?
Yeah, 100%. Definitely had a lot of boys that would rather play their footy elsewhere for 2026, which was, it is what it is. People move from club to club and that's life. To be honest, it didn't really affect us within the Eastwood community. Just knew that we had to knuckle down and get some jobs done. So from a team and a squad point of view, it didn't really have too much of an effect on us. We just sort of come together as a group and, it doesn't matter who you're playing beside, you just got to put 100% effort in for that bloke next to you. So, yeah.
It's pretty clear to me and everybody watching, Tom, that you guys are rock hard fit and you're quite physical as well, particularly in defence with your line speed. You've got Anthony Griffin, who's a former NRL coach, coaching you guys. What's he brought to the side and to the group?
Yeah, great question. So having Hook on board's been unreal for our defence in particular. Looking at rugby union from an external point of view with his league background, he's been able to bring some really valuable insights. Particularly in just staying connected in D and getting up hard. And we've sort of got this like one pass mentality where if you're a line out or a scrum, you only want to give that ball player one pass before you make your contact there. So that's sort of what we're aiming for, to just always limit a team to one pass and to get on top with our D. The other thing that we've sort of been really focusing on is holding the ball. So obviously in league, you've got your 5 tackles and then most of them kick before the 6th. There's no rule like that in union. So we're just focusing on ball retention, hold the ball, and just time with the ball in hand creates opportunity. So they're the 2 things that he's really brought to the team, and it's been really good to have those insights. Yeah.
We saw that retention in round 1 versus Randwick, down by 12 points with 5 minutes to go. You could sense there was belief in the group. Run us through what it was like on the field in those final 5 minutes and what led to you guys coming over the top of Randwick.
100%. I was actually off the field by that stage, but the bench that came on, we train as a squad throughout the week. We're not really separated into our ones and twos too much. And to have that squad work with each other throughout the week, it's just a seamless transition to come on at the end of the game, whether it be 5, 10, 20 minutes. And we just knew that, if we held the ball for enough phases, we'll get over the line, and we did in the end. We've had a few games where it's actually gone the other way as well. So just on the weekend, similar situation, attacking the line, and we just knocked it on. And that's footy, that's life. So hold the ball and opportunities will come.
You personally, obviously, I coached against you in 2023 when you were halfback for Eastwood First Colts, and looking around, Billy Dickens is playing well over at Manly. You've got Matty Gonzalez on the bench at Eastwood, but you're playing, some of your best rugby. How are you personally enjoying your 3rd year in grade, and the season in general?
100%. I suppose being my 3rd year around this sort of level of footy, sort of got a little bit more freedom to try some things, and you're not sort of scared of making as many mistakes. Interesting, you mentioned Billy Dickens. I've been watching his games each week. We're quite close and we go a long way back. So it's good to see boys that you've sort of grown up with in other clubs also, perform well and enjoy their footy. I suppose for me, I get to play with my brother. He did his ACL last year. I also broke my ankle last year, so it was a slow year for us. And just to both be back out there on the park together has been really special, and just taking each moment as they come and enjoying it. Yeah.
What's mealtime like for the 2 of you when you're at full strength? He's in the front row, you're scooting around, leading the team around. It's naturally a cliche, but fascinating the spaces that you both fill.
Yeah, look, it's definitely got 2 ends of the gene pool there. He's a natural born tight head, that's for sure. But he lives and breathes scrums. He's home. He's watching every scrum that's happened in the Shute Shield and Super Rugby at test level. He's got a little spreadsheet, and he's a bit of a scrum buff. But it's just been good to learn a little bit about the forwards through him, and vice versa with the backs. So our dinner time conversations can get pretty interesting. Mum and my sister probably prefer to talk about other things, but it's just good to see him grow. And take the field with him. At school and all that, we're always 2 years apart, so we never got to do that. And now, obviously, in opens, it's really special to take the field with him. Yeah.
TJ Milner looks in terrific nick, and you're back there against West Harbour this weekend. What's it like playing at TJ Milner, and what's the message to the fans who have been getting out and should get out to this match of the round this weekend?
100%. So TG is probably the best I've seen it in the last 10, 15 years. It's the groundskeepers are doing a really good job there. We're flogging it. We're on it pretty much every day. So they're doing a very good job. I suppose for the fans, it will be our last year here at TG. We've started developing out at Castle Hill for our new site, and I think we've got maybe 5 more home games here at TG. So really special for anyone that's had any memory at TG to come along. You don't have to be an Eastwood supporter to love TG. It's a great field. It's a great venue.
Great Chinese food as well.
Yeah, the Chinese food's great. We've got a team dinner there tonight, which we're very excited about. But I think just it's a great opportunity to come and farewell the field. Eastwood West Harbour is a great rivalry. Probably developed a lot more in the last couple of years. We've had some tight games. It's gone both ways. Yeah, so I think just enjoy the occasion. It's a great space to watch footy. You know, you've got the hill, you've got the grandstand, you've got plenty of beer flowing. Yeah, it's just a great venue.
Perfect afternoon in the sun. Look, 100th grade game for you this weekend, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, apparently I found
Yeah.
that a couple of days ago. I didn't know that was the case, but
Awesome.
yeah,
How do you reflect on that time? And yeah, like where are you at with your footy, and sort of where do you hope to see yourself by the end of this season off the back of that sort of intra-club milestone?
yeah, 100%. I'm still relatively young in the scheme of things, so I'm 22, turning 23. So come the end of this year, I'd love to be pushing for some sort of pro contract, semi-pro contract somewhere, where it be in Australia or overseas. In terms of playing 100 games here at Eastwood, this has been my club since I was a tiny little fella in under 10. So yeah, it's my home. I love the club. The community is awesome. There's nowhere else I'd rather play my footy. So yeah, super happy to be celebrating that, and hopefully have a lot more to play here. Yeah.
Awesome to catch up with you and hear a bit about how things are going at Eastwood. There are a lot of exciting young players such as yourself in the club. A couple of tries for you, a couple of wins as well for Eastwood, and a big game against West Harbour. Thank you so much for joining us, and good luck on the weekend.
Thank you very much, guys. Nice to meet you. Cheers.
Well, I guess this week on the Refs Room is Colm McCaughan. Colm, always a pleasure to have somebody join us for the Refs Room, but even more so that we can make sure we get the pronunciation right of your name. How have we done with Colm McCaughan?
You are the first commentator that has nailed it. So there's actually a bit of a running joke amongst the referees on my name pronunciation, because all my years of doing Shoot Shield, they've all come out with the commentators have all come out with some very, very interesting interpretations. The funniest of which has been McCaughan. I don't know where that came from, but it's meant that my emoji in the Shoot referees chat is a coffin. So
spectacular. Spectacular. Well, I might have got a little bit of help, in fairness, but it's always
The Undertaker. What a great name.
Colm, tell us, you've been refereeing for quite a while. Tell us how you got into refereeing and what you love about it.
Well, I actually took up refereeing as a kid. I was still playing junior rugby for a while, and then I just thought it'd be a nice little way to pick up some very basic pocket money, and just a good way to spend Saturday mornings before playing either Friday nights or on the afternoon. And then I just realised I really liked it. I've realised also by the time I was a late teenager that I probably wasn't going to make it as a player. Like I know other referees will tell you they got injured. That wasn't me. I just wasn't very good. And yeah, then I just took it up, and then I joined the Refs Association for New South Wales when I left school. Well, that's going back a while now. And then I've just kind of kept going with it, and to this day.
Mm. And you work in the education space. Tell us a bit about that and how you balance that with refereeing, and how potentially that works in nicely.
Well, actually, there's a bit of another running joke amongst the refs. That 50 to 60% of referees are either teachers, lawyers, or cops. So,
Sure.
So I think, look, there's a very, very similar kind of skill set that's really required out there, as you see, particularly when you have to lay down the law to some unruly players. So, look, teaching's a great job. It's a great Monday to Friday gig, and it leaves your weekends free for rugby. And as I said, similar skill set. Lots of ups and downs, and I think I guess a good similarity between the two is a good teacher and a good referee. Don't get in your face too much. They're kind of out of the way, and they're just doing the best they can.
I guess, Colm, 300 games, like that's a lot of time in the saddle. How's the body holding up? And how do you prepare? Given your tenure out in the middle.
Yeah, well, not too far away from 300 just yet. But look, it's funny you say that. I've been definitely having some more and more issues now. Yeah, certainly the soft tissue injuries are just picking up, and taking a lot longer to recover now. And so I think I have to be a little bit more prepared when it comes to stretching, warm up and warm down. Look, back in the day, I could do 2 or 3 games on a Saturday and then, head straight out to the pub afterwards and still wake up Sunday morning just fine. But now, even after one game, it's like, it's hard work. So yeah, you just have to be a little bit more prepared in how you, so a little bit more conscious of how you warm down, warm up, whatever the word is, and just go for it. Really, but definitely feeling it, Kulo, definitely.
In terms of close to 300 games, you would have met a lot of characters on and off the field. I'm going to put you on the spot here. Is there any individual, any person, any example which comes to mind that sticks with you from those games you've refereed?
Oh, look, I know they mentioned Cecil Lansdowne a couple of weeks ago. He's a character, and he's actually quite involved and helping a lot of the referees in understanding, particularly scrums. A bit of a funny story is that David Vaya from Randwick, he's definitely a very fierce competitor. He's always got a few things going on the field. And there's a bit of a funny story is that I touch judged for David Conway's last game. And we did think it was very funny that David Vaya came in for Conway's autograph at the end. There's a bit of a funny story that, like, you just know when David's on the field, he's probably going to be doing some pesty things in the background and causing mischief. But again, fierce competitor, and it's good to have on the field.
Colm, loved your insight. Good luck this season too as you approach 300. Know you brought up that 250 milestone not too long ago. So a lot to celebrate, no doubt, within the competition, but also in the refereeing ranks. And thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Round 5 of the Blue Crane Capital Shute Shield. We are starting to see some very interesting trends emerge, and I can't wait to see what happens in round 5. Kulo. The match of the round is Eastwood hosting West Harbour at TG Milner. That is live on 9Gem and 9 Now, also across Stan Sport. But check your local guides for that one. Eastwood would go in as favourites against West Harbour and can really keep that season moving after a couple of losses.
Yeah, Tom Goddard touched upon it. Only 5 home games left for the Eastwood side at TG Milner. So emotional for them on the countdown. Look, West Harbour, bottom of the table, they need to win, to avoid the wooden spoon at this stage. Eastwood need to win for momentum's sake. They're 2-2. They've also got a tough away game, against North Cowra next week. So this would be huge from a momentum perspective. They're a real meaty part of the table, at the moment. Look, this Eastwood side's right in it. Godard at halfback is class. Jai Leg for me, he's a genuine Super Rugby prospect. He's above 200 centimetres tall. He's mobile, he's athletic, and he's physical. Shelley, Crow, Nelson out wide, and Gonzalez off the bench. They're the full package. I think probably for them, they're going to have to really focus on their discipline, their consistency, ability to exit after scoring points, then the ability to convert pressure into points. We saw last week, not converting that yellow card advantage in the final 5 minutes of the first half against Western Sydney Two Blues really cost them.
Hunter back at home hosting Sydney University, and it's a fascinating contest. Hunter has been leaking points. They lost against Gordon in just a score-a-thon. A few changes to Hunter's lineup, but maybe more interestingly, Sydney University, a little bit up and down, still finding their feet. They lost to Manly, so the win against Hunter in Newcastle would be just the tonic for Sydney University. Darcy Breen is back in. That's a big one for Sydney University. James Kane back at fullback, one of the favourite sons of Sydney University. So central to all of that success in that late 2010s, 20-teens era for Sydney University. A couple of back-to-back premierships. James Kane was terrific. So great to see him back for Sydney Uni. George Pullman back in. We've spoken about those Super Rugby listed players running around in the Blue Crane Capital Shute Shield. Really interesting to see how Sydney Uni handles the trip up to Hunter. Desperate need for a win, Sydney University. Randwick and the Two Blues, we'll chat about in a sec, but Warringah and North's classic modern-day rivalry.
Yeah, Warringah, what you see is what you get. 4 wins, 4 bonus points, hard to beat at home. Tyson Davies starting in at 12 in for LeBron Naya. Benny Woolett comes in for Luke Tucker as well. So, big inclusions on that side of things. It's a slightly bigger forward pack that coach Josh Holmes has gone for this week. Pogita comes into the second row and Whitman goes to back row. So partnering Barnabas and Clayton Franz in the back row there, probably looking to physically dominate this Northern Suburbs side, which at times has been a little bit passive. They were a big step up last week versus Randwick, but it looks to me like Josh Holmes is looking to really bash that Northern Suburbs side into submission. And
the great fixtures and contests continue. Randwick and the Two Blues, as mentioned, and Randwick 0-4. The Two Blues, a great win against Eastwood for them, and this on differing ends of the scale has huge weight and importance. For Randwick, they need to get off the mark. They are missing real star power. They're missing Joel Ellis. They're missing Andrew Deegan still. Mitch Short isn't named to play. So they've got some concerns there. And then on the other side of things, the Two Blues, Ray Niuia starts. Ioane Moananu has been giving them great starting minutes, but Niuia, a Super Rugby experienced player, gets the start again. Manly and Easts, another terrific clash.
Yeah, it's great to see Jack Bowen selected off the back of a really consistent start to the season to be on the bench against the Highlanders in Dunedin. It's a shame, though. I would have loved to have seen Jack Bowen and Joe Dillon, the two St. National College Review products, go up against each other. But it's great that he has progressed with selection there. Chris Bell comes into 10. Look, he hasn't played much rugby this year. That's a big step up for him, up against Joe Dillon, who we know kind of form that he's in at the moment. I'm really looking forward to the battle between Dickens and Tupai at 9. That's going to be edgy. We know Billy Dickens is a former Eastern Suburbs player. So there'll be plenty of spicy interactions going on there. So looking forward to those fireworks. For me, I think probably the two most critical factors are going to be discipline and territory.
Souths and Gordon, the final match in round 5. They match up really well as far as paper and structure, the way that Souths might attack this one, but Gordon have been in terrific form. They go to foreshore, free entry for travelling Gordon fans. Souths are doing some great things off the park. The numbers have been terrific. People have been getting out and supporting the club. They could do with a win, no doubt, and a win against Gordon would be massive for them. Lewis Young continues to emerge as a fan favourite. Jack Douglas leads them so well. It's a big forward pack and they're going to need to be big. The scrum's been great. Off the bench as well, the reserve forwards have been doing some heavy lifting. They're going to need to match Gordon up front because the Gordon backline has been running rampant. As always, Cooler, looking forward to the set of fixtures. The match of the round on 9gem and 9Now is Eastwood hosting West Harbour at TG Milner. We'll look forward to your company then. And thanks as always.
Yeah, thanks, Will. Looking forward to the last of 5 games at TG Milner. Farewelling, one of the hidden gems of Shute Shield Club Rugby.